We're in a time in America where agents, trolls, government officials, media wants you to believe that you have no power, that you have no strength, that the Constitution doesn't apply anymore. Notice that they always talk about the U.S. Constitution and how it's just a piece of paper. Notice how they say it's outdated and it doesn't apply to you. Well, my name is David Jose, and I'm here today to let you know that you do have the power. As a matter of fact, you have all political power. And I'm going to prove this to you today, and I'm going to show you what's happening in the fight between good and evil. Okay, guys, you are now here with David Jose. I am a man who's been studying law pretty much almost every day for the past 3 years. I have a really good auditory memory and somewhat of a photographic memory, so it's easy for me to catch things and to be able to put them together, to be able to pretty much recite them. I try to bury them or encode them in my mind, in my own words, so that I can teach other people and break it down. So I don't just like to regurgitate information, but I do like to break these things down so people can understand. Now, why is this important? Because right now today we are being attacked. People are trying to attack our liberties. The thing is that it is a psychological attack. Nobody is physically attacking you yet. They might arrest you for going outside, but nobody's making a physical attack on America. The important thing that I want you to see is that this psychological operation is to first get you to believe that you are hopeless. Because the only way that somebody can oppress a people as powerful as the American people is that they have to get you to believe that you have no rights, you have no power, it's gone, you've been sold down the road, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, I'm here to let you know today that there is a whole lot that you can do about it. You have all political power, and you have the ability to stop this. Now, as I said, political officials are trying to stop you from believing you have power. Attorneys are trying to stop you from believing you have power, right? And the reason and the media, and the reason they do this is because if you knew where you stood in the law, you would stand strong on that authority. And so most of us are not bad people. Most of us just want to have some freedom and do what we're supposed to do and love our families and take care of them. We're not trying to go out and do wrong. So we live a life where we try to observe the law. And that is the law of nature. We just try to be good to each other. We're not going and stealing from each other or harming each other or beating each other up or anything like that. So that very fact that you are good and just people is being used against you by people who are criminals, who are setting up plans to harm the people, who are trying to strip your rights away and give them to others. And the problem is that they don't have the authority to give them to others. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to some clips for you just so you can see some of the things that have happened in recent history. I believe Donald Trump is fighting for the people. Can I say he will always fight for the people? No, he's a man. I can't say what a man will do. But what I will do is say he has been arresting a lot of traffickers. He has been stopping a lot of the evil that has been happening by organizations and entities and associations that have made their money off of deceiving the people into believing they're doing good things when they are really doing bad things. Now, a lot of people want to come on my videos and say Trump is this, Trump is that. Listen, you don't need to come here and tell me what Trump is because you don't know and I don't know. But the Bible says to judge people by their fruit. And I see him arresting a lot of people. And I want to show you this clip where he just got rid of the funding for the World Health Organization, which has been plotting against the people. Okay, check this clip out.
Today I'm instructing my administration to halt funding of the World Health Organization.
So here we see that Trump actually canceled the funding of the World Health Organization. Later on, he tells that he did this because they were giving faulty information. They weren't keeping up with things in the way that they should have with the coronavirus, which makes sense because in the beginning I asked a lot of questions about how they're testing for coronavirus if coronavirus just came out. How did they identify it so fast? Does anybody have any ties to this disease that could benefit off of what's happening? So I asked these questions early on. A lot of people got upset because I asked these questions, but this is super important because we must realize that our economy and people's lives are shut down over a virus that has come out to be something different than what they said it was. And Trump just punished them for that. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to empower the people. Like I said, a lot of agents and trolls that you can clearly see are working against the people, are trying to get the people to believe that you have no power, that the governors can just shut your states down and it is what it is. Now, Trump did something which I believe he did to provoke the governors to step up and start doing something. He actually said that the president has the powers that the president has, and that he makes the judgment when the governors are going to open back up the states and so forth and so on. When he did that, now it's forcing the governors to try to make a play to stop it from looking like Trump has power. Now, what I want to do, though, is empower the people, because really it doesn't matter what happens with Trump. It doesn't matter what happens with the governors. What really matters is that the people stand up and they start to stand on their own rights. You can't trust Trump to do it for you. You can't trust anybody else to do it for you. It is your duty to stand on your rights. And so what I want to do is break down by different states, which most people will never show you your state constitutions and bills of rights and declarations of rights. I want to show you the power that you really have. And then after, I want you to comment in the comments and let me know if it looks like the government has power over you or that you give power to the government. All right. So make sure that you go into the comments and you respond after we're done. But I'm going to go with a couple of states. I'm going to show you guys some pictures and read off to you what is said in your own state declarations of rights or bills of rights. Now, some people will ask, why in the world am I going back to the Constitution? The reason I'm going is because there is a huge problem with government officials leaving the fundamental principles and taking power from the people. Now, the people don't recognize that this is happening. And so in order to help the people to truly stand and help the people to truly understand that they have a foundation that allows them to fight for their rights, I have to first show you what your forefathers left in the Arizona Declaration of Rights. Okay, notice here, this is in the Declaration of Rights of Arizona, Fundamental Principles, Section 1. A frequent recurrence to fundamental principles is essential to the security of individual rights and the perpetuity of free government. So what we must understand is that the people have individual rights. It's not based on what everybody else wants. You don't have to be all together as a people to assert these rights or to have these rights, but we must go back to fundamental principles or the government will likely enslave us. We need to realize that our forefathers put this in the Declaration of Rights because they knew where power came from. The problem is that the government is always trying to get more power. So let's look at political power and understand where you stand. All right, so political power in the Declaration of Rights of Arizona. All political power is inherent in the people. You have the power. And governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed and are established to protect and maintain individual rights. Their only purpose is to protect and maintain your individual rights. And those rights are inherent in the people, okay? I'm sorry, the power is inherent in the people. The government only gets the power they have from you. So how is it that if you're granting the authority that somehow the government has gotten more power than you. And if you cannot see where you granted these powers to these people in government, that means that they stole it and it is no longer just. So by now, you guys should be wondering, hey, Dave, what gives? How in the world is it that we have all political power in the people? How in the world is it that the governments derive, that means they get the power from the people, and their only job is to maintain our individual rights? Your whole purpose is to make sure that nobody touches my rights, my freedom, or my property. How is it that we are to go back to fundamental principles to keep from being enslaved, yet nobody tells us that we're supposed to be going back to fundamental principles? This is why the state constitutions are not taught, because if you saw what was in there, it would make you ask these questions. So a lot of you guys may be thinking now, okay, well, if this is the way that it is and we really have this power, how come they're not following it? How come they're not respecting me? How come they're taking stuff from me? Well, the reason they do that is because you don't know that nobody can encroach upon your liberties. Nobody can take your liberty away to travel around, to raise a family, to do what you need to do, to provide income, wages for your family. Nobody can do it without due process of law, meaning they can't arrest you, they can't stop you, they can't prohibit you unless you are prosecuted by a jury of your peers and you get what's called due process of law. Let me show that to you. Okay, so here we have Declaration of Rights, Section 4, Arizona. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So when they tell you you can't go to church, that's your liberty. When they tell you you can't raise your children are a liberty interest. When they try to make medical decisions for your children, that is a liberty interest. When they try to tell you that you can't pursue happiness and all these different things, what they're doing is taking away due process of law and really just stealing your liberties. Now, the only thing that scares these people from doing that is an educated populace that understands that what they're doing is wrong. As long as you don't know, they know that you're never going to stand up and do anything about it. So now let's look at the Virginia Constitution. Section 2, Bill of Rights, Article 1. People the source of power, that all power is vested in and consequently derived from the people, that magistrates are their trustees and servants, and at all times amendable to them. Do you realize that you can change the way that your government is formed at any time? That the people don't have to sit aside and let their state be shut down by overzealous criminals? You don't have to go through this. Okay, so let's go further. Article 1 in the Bill of Rights, Section 3 for Virginia, it says the government is or ought to be instituted for the common benefit, protection, and security of the people, nation, and community of all the various modes and forms of government that is best, which is capable of producing the greatest degree of happiness and safety, and is most effectually secured against the danger of maladministration. And whenever any government shall be found inadequate or contrary to these purposes, a majority of the community hath an indubitable, inalienable, and indefeasible right to reform, alter, or abolish it in such manner as shall be judged most conducive to the public will. Now, guys, you don't have to replace them by their own format. You don't have to change things by the way they tell you to, and they don't dictate policy to you. They can't just shut down the nation and tell you that they're going to remove everything off some false numbers that are not scientific at all, that is not following real medicine, and destroy the economy, destroy your life, and leave you not being able to take care of your family. They cannot do this. And so I'm showing you in different state constitutions the power that you have. We need to truly stand on our power and share this with everybody, because once we know the truth, we can stand on truth. But if they keep this hidden from us, we will continue to beg and plead for legislation that does not even apply to the people who have all the power. Now let's look at the Minnesota Bill of Rights. Section 1. Government is instituted for the security, benefit, and protection of the people, in whom all political power is inherent, together with the right to alter, modify, and reform government whenever required by the public good. Are you telling me that it's not in the public good to have businesses opened up and people to be able to pay for their families? Do you really want this to be a state where we're all on welfare? Do you really want us to have to beg the government and have them treat us like they do our precious fighters who beg for VA benefits? Let's also look at Section 2. No member of this state shall be disenfranchised or deprived of any of the rights or privileges secured to any citizen thereof, unless by the law of the land or the judgment of his peers. The statutes and codes are not the law of the land. The Constitution and the common law is the law of the land. And if your peers don't say that you have committed some crime, murdered someone, done something wrong that won't allow for you to be able to be in society, then they have no right to stop you from going after your liberty interests, from raising a family, from being able to play at the park that you funded. It makes no sense. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to do the Michigan Constitution. Political power. All political power is inherent in the people. Government is instituted for their equal benefit, security, and protection. Once again, guys, these people are your trustees. These people are your servants. They do not give you power. They do not own you. They do not tell you what to do. And they do not shut down everything until your life falls into oblivion. We must understand that it is our duty to stand. Your rights came from God, not from these people. So they have no power to take the power that you have granted to them and then say that they're going to turn around and take everything from you. If we can see this clearly, we can truly stand. But if we don't recognize this, we're going to fall, and we're going to fall hard. Okay, guys, so I didn't go through every single constitution in the country. I just went through some of the Bills of Rights and some of the law that the people created so you can see the power that you have and where you stand. You have the right, the inherent right, to remove government at any time that you wish. So if the people decide that these people are destroying our nation, they use false science, they're lying to the people, and a majority of the people stand up, you can remove the government by right. You can remove the government is not some all-reigning power over you. You have all the political power, and somehow they have deceived you into believing that they rule over you, that they tell you what to do, and that they have all the power, and they give out power to you as they wish, and they can take it away. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not how our nation works. We don't have a king. We actually have each man or woman is a king or a queen without subjects, each one. And so we all have equal power. We are all fundamentally free, right? We are all independent. We are part of a nation, but we are independent. And if the nation decides to do wrong against us, we don't have to stand for it. So the thing is, guys, we must stand on truth. We must stand on the real law. This is the common law, the law that just makes common sense. So guys, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to fall for this foolishness. You don't have to stand here and watch your lives being destroyed. You don't have to watch your kids' future being destroyed. You don't have to watch these people giving trillions of dollars to each other with their fake foundations, because this is a time where you can now stand on truth. If you want more videos like this, you want more information, more knowledge, let me know. Tell me in the comments and I will serve you humbly. This is my duty. I've been through my fight. I've been able to learn and gain wisdom, and it is my duty to share it with you. So I believe in you guys. I know that you will stand and do the right thing. I know that God is putting us in a place to be powerful, and I will not sit here and let people trick the people into believing that they just have to take whatever these people say. Thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate everything you guys are doing in Michigan, in Ohio, and in other states where you're standing up and fighting. And I pray that God be with you, and I pray that God bless us and be with us and help us to stand strong and do those things which are right. God bless America. You guys be good.